Hey everyone, Action here. In this video we are gonna go through all the steps of the new Biomorphosis Ascension, showing you all the options available and the benefits they give. We are also gonna improve our empire from the last video tremendously, reaching almost 1,500 tech with an spectacular economy and not giving up on Unity. I have heard people complaining about the early game being too weak, but at least for this build and this Ascension, we are having no problems at all. Let's see if it stays that way throughout the mid and end game. And if you are enjoying this, join our navy and help us build something greater. High Command has called for 2,500 new commanders to be enlisted, and your skills and leadership are vital to our mission of defending the universe. So in yesterday's video we managed to have the Biomorphosis Ascension perk already, and that started our situation. Now in the situation we can either focus on purity, cloning or mutation. For this run we're gonna test out the cloning, although all of them seem very interesting. The purity will basically means your pops are more productive, cloning is for the massive pop growth, and mutation is kind of an RNG based Ascension. So first, in order to start the situation, we need to build the genomic research facilities. And those facilities are actually very powerful because on top of the medical worker jobs, we are gonna have plus 400 pops optimized every single month. And considering that we are overtuned with the fleeting excellence, we have the auto modding trait actually gonna help us a lot. Now the situation already started, and since we're going for cloning, we gain a +1 monthly organic pop growth for every genomic researcher we have. So here on every planet we will have basically, what is the planet build queue? Oh, there it is. Alright, took me a while to find it. But yeah, it's gonna give us +2 medical worker jobs. And the medical workers are gonna be converted into genomic researchers. In our planet we already have a medical center, which is kinda different from what it used to be. I thought it was a little larger than that. And on Alpha Centauri Prime we also have the medical center. So the medical center will actually give us the different kind of job instead of medical workers, which is very nice, since it will increase our monthly pop assembly. And here we can already start building up our alloy foundries. Now the dev said that they have increased the amount of anomalies we can have in the early game, and we can actually just see how many we got. So there are 3 here, and I think we have researched 4, so a total of 7 anomalies already in the game. So the situation is also gonna affect our traditions later on, because if we look at this, all of our ascensions will have the flexible traditions, and depending on our first decision, it's gonna set our flexible tradition, in this case to genomic growth, giving all of these benefits. However, if we went to purity, we would gain instead those traits right here. Now, yeah, I think this one would be a lot better than what we have here. I really think this is bugged though, because look at this, we have 4,700 pops on this faction, and on the other one we have 1k. However, 1000 represents 5% and 4000 represents 94%. I don't think the math checks out here. Nope, and we have the clone dilemma. We can either give citizenship for all clones, which will grant us more pop growth speed, or they are second-class citizens at best. No, everyone is equal. And we could theoretically already start selecting our third tradition. However, we'll wait until the biomorphosis is close to completion, so we can finish it up at the same time. One thing that I totally forgot to do... Okay, what is this? Alright, you can take one of our guys. We have so many clones either way. So back at what I was saying, one thing that I totally forgot was the Empire focus. Now the timeline is a huge thing in our Empire because we can have some very unique technologies. So for every tier on the Empire focus, we will gain these technologies in the physics research field. And at the end, we'll have the jump drives. Now, these technologies won't be fully given to you. It will just be the research option. However, here on Conquest, we can have the guaranteed research option for the existential campaigns, which basically is a Total War Casus Belli. but without even needing a Colossus. So yeah, it's pretty broken though. Or we could go for development and already unlocked the Mega Engineering research option at tier 10. I think that development might be the way to go here. So let's go ahead and shift our focus to development instead of exploration, and that will cost us only 50 Unity, but will have a more beneficial Empire focus for us. Identity crisis. Clones across our Empire are reporting struggles, grappling with their sense of self. This is common, get therapy, or they should seek fulfillment in their work. Now this option will give us 200 leader XP at the cost of actually a lot of happiness for 5 years. And this one will increase our monthly unity and happiness. I think it's better for us to have the monthly unity at this point, so let's go with that one. And also it's probably the cooler option. Oh, we found the asteroid blast door. Now this is a huge archaeological site. If I remember correctly, it gives us a very large chunk of minor artifacts. And in this patch, if we reverse engineer the minor artifacts, we can actually get the rare Fallen Empire technologies that in the previous patch you could only acquire them through Cosmogenesis. I think this is also the case if we grab the enigmatic engineering. Yeah, look, a small chance of drawing Fallen Empire building technologies. Now that's huge, man. So we can basically have enigmatic engineering and have all of these very OP buildings instead of locking ourselves up to the Cosmogenesis. This way we can actually have the Behemoth Fury, which is the crisis we are gonna have, and also have the Fallen Empire buildings. Yeah, it's very OP, very OP. Now we have our second flexible tradition to choose here. We can either have the heightened attributes, which will increase our job efficiency by 5% per medical building tier, which I believe there are, 3 tiers, and also plus 15% from genomic research facilities. Job efficiency is basically resource pop output in the previous patch, and it also reduced our empire size from pops by minus 10%. I'm more tempted to go this way, I'm not gonna lie. Now, focus on cloning will give us the same amount of job efficiency, but actually the genomic researchers will reduce crime. Not that good. And the third, focus on mutation, the same amount of productivity and leader EXP and lifespan gain. Yeah, purity is definitely a ton better here. However, it will change our situation approach to purity. I don't know if we'll be able to change it later on though. So since we're testing, I think we're gonna go with purity because it's by far the most OP out of the options. And I think that later on we could theoretically change it to cloning. I think we still have one more step after we finish the stage 2. And we can shift to cloning and finish up the tradition and get the Cloning Ascension. Now one thing I already noticed is that we already have some leaders that are above our leader lifespan. So yeah, we are definitely gonna need to hire leaders with the resilient trait, because this way they won't die in an instant. And another Fallen Empire, wow. Out of all of the 1000 stars in our galaxy, we already found 2 Fallen Empires. Now this is very interesting. So the exotic gas refining, which in the previous patch granted us the jobs, now is only gonna increase the exotic gases our catalytic technicians and artisans produces, in essence increasing our pop efficiency. Our Minister of Defense was killed by an extremist? What? How did that happen? Well, we don't have any commanders with the resilient trait. I think I'm gonna wait until the time passes and the leader pool refreshes. And for our next biomorphosis situation, we can have plus 0.5 unity for every 100 unemployed pops and an extra stability, or authoritarian effects attraction and leader cap. Let's go with this one. How on earth do we have 17 stability here? What? Now we just shifted the amenities and it's now at 64. So in this patch you definitely don't wanna go low on amenities. Holy. Oh, we found the Lone Defender. And that's very good to have the Lone Defender because of the specimen it gives. However, I think it's gonna take a while until our battleships can get there. Yeah. 1.2 thousand days. But eventually we'll get there. Actually, no, I'll just build a batch of our Mauler ships so they can get in range of the Lone Defender and do some chop-chops. Oh, Turian, the renowned Paragon, but he's a synthetic and increases the mechanical pulp output. Yeah, we don't need you now. And now, since the trade rework, we can actually build the trade hubs and gain 8 trade value. So basically now Bio Empires also have some sort of solar panels. I think it's even better than solar panels now, because you have to sell energy and get trade to buy other resources, which is not the case for us. We can just build the trade hubs and that's it. And yeah, just as I was saying before, after we finish the second stage of our situation, we can again shift our approach. So this time we'll choose the cloning one, and it will give us the regenerative cloning. Alright, leaders start with a backup clone trait, and leaders can periodically regain the backup trait. So every time our leaders die, we'll gain them again. So it's actually very good with overtuned, because we have a very low life expectancy, and since our leaders will die very quickly, but they will be reborn as clones. It has a very good synergy. So I really think that factions are bugged though. Here we only have like 6 times less pop, and we are only producing this amount of tech. And in the other faction we are producing almost 400 just from it. That's kinda ridiculous, man. Our Minister of Defense died of old age already. Our leaders don't have the backup trait already. We need to wait, I think, until we finish the cloning tradition. Our economy is completely bonkers at this point in the game. Look at how many resources we are making. And the alloys, yeah, they may seem low, but that's because we don't have a lot of pops working alloy jobs, only 4 pops, and we don't even spend alloys to build our ships anyway. Only 64 for the maulers and 120 for the weavers. Our head of research already died of old age as well. That's totally fine. At least now we finish up building some of our fleet of bioships, and we can... No, let me have this unyielding leader. I think it's gonna give us more hull points. Let's start killing some things around the galaxy. And we finally finished the biomorphosis situation. We could either adapt the purity or the cloning tradition, and we couldn't adapt the mutation because in all of the options we never chose the mutation, but we chose the purity once. So that's why it's showing up here. So let's go with cloning. Our furnace already researched, which is very nice. And let's see what we can get from here. Only 3. We still need 2 more to finish up the cloning tradition as a whole. But this way all of our leaders already have the backup clone. Fantastic. Oh, so the donation we gave to the Model 16 continuity paid off, plus 25% research from jobs. That's amazing. Although we don't have a single researcher right now, but yeah. And we are currently engaging in our very first battle in patch 4.0. Yeah, let me see how well those juveniles fared in battle. I think we're doing some damage. Let's see. Yeah, most of the damage was from combat mandibles, 5k, very good. And let's defeat the other rocks sitting nearby. Should be a swift victory again. Yeah, they just got completely stomped. So one thing that I'm noticing is that we have a very large surplus of basic resources, but when it comes to the strategic ones, it doesn't go very well. We already built our first exotic gas refineries, and our metallurgists are basically producing 2.5 exotic gases per month, which is kinda nice, increases our pop efficiency, and also build up some clone vats in our empire. And our plan right now, after we finish the Ascension, is to grab the Behemoth Fury. But that will require us to have at least 3 other Ascension perks, so we need to improve our Unity production a little more than that. However, our tech output is tremendously high. I really think it's bugged, because how can we be producing 600 tech just from factions alone, basically? Yeah, it is granted that we are producing some society tech from the genomic research facilities and also the medical centers, but yeah, it's just ridiculous. Oh, I know why it was a little thin. It's because it is a medical center, not a gene clinic. Ah, now I get it. Alright, so this will be a very important technology. Thankfully, we are already producing the exotic gases to upgrade all of our medical centers. Now, one thing I noticed is that our pop production is very high right now. If you look at this, all of these green text right here actually means our job efficiency bonuses. So although we only have 1800 pops working here, we are producing the equivalent of almost 2.3 thousand of them. I mean, I desperately need the specialization technologies, because our empire at this point is running low on building slots, I'm not gonna lie. Like being cut out from building civilian industries, like being cut out from building industrial districts really changed things up. Yeah. Oh, I see. I see now. Oh my god, I didn't realize this. So for every city district that we build, I think we're gonna have 100 artisan jobs. Because here it says that we gain 100 artisan per district on top of the extra 600 artisans we have from the civilian industries buildings. So in total, we should have 700 jobs, if I'm right. Let's see. Exactly, we have 700 jobs available. Yeah, no, that makes things a lot better, I'm not gonna lie. So let's start building up some more city districts here. Yeah, I'm so dumb. And a shout out to our first founding admirals. Their financial and strategical support are fueling the non-stop expansion of our armada, and they shall be forever remembered. Want your name in our legacy? Hit that join button and become a part of our great empire. Founder members are only available until the end of this month and will have exclusive benefits the bigger our empire gets, so your early devotion will be greatly rewarded. But in my defense, we are all learning along the way. Thankfully, our weavers can already start growing to the second level. We have the support or the suppressor. I think the support is better, right? Because you're gonna scale up so hard that is actually gonna help us a lot. But what is the difference? I don't understand why we have the differentiation between support and suppressor. Well, I still don't know. If any of you guys know, please leave it in the comments down below so I can check it out later. Here we're gonna have the developmental pheromones, which basically means that this ship will grow at a rate of +1 every single month, and it's gonna take 120 months for it to reach maturity. So here in our shipyard we can already build the level 2 or just build the level 1 for a cheaper price and wait for it to grow. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We can only build 4 of them due to our poor alloy production. And we have finished the cloning tradition finally. And with that we can change our authority to replicating regency, which gives us +2 effective counselor skill, some little bit of counselor XP gain, and also unity from elites. On top of that, we have the backup clones and reduce degradation whilst on the council. Oh, that's not very good. The risk of cellular and cognitive decline increases with each successful clone. So yeah, due to our backup clones, we apparently can't have them at a very efficient rate for, let's say, indeterminate amount of time. They're gonna eventually become worse and worse until they are very bad, I guess. So let's see the other authorities. This one I don't understand. We have backup clones, and clone leaders cannot have backup clones. What? Does that mean that only people that we hire from outside? Alright, that's weird. But it reduces our empire size from pops by -15%. That's actually very nice. So yeah, basically all the other options goes along the same way of having backup clones, a little bit of bonuses to different things. And in the case of the Imperial Authority, the Imperial trait cannot increase in penalties, so our ruler will be efficient forever. So for our next Ascension perk, we're gonna test out the Enigmatic Engineering, which will grant us a small chance of drawing the Fallen Empire building technologies. Well, I wanna test something out. So let's have the Society Research Specialization and see how many bonuses we can stack together. Now that's what I'm talking about. This is a very good leader, giving us more alloys, reduced upkeep, and also unity and happiness for our pops. Perfect governor for our alloy world. Oh, we finally have the food processing technology. This will grant us access to the agricultural district specialization, which is probably the most OP thing you can have in Biomorphosis Ascension. And for our 4th tradition, I think I'm gonna go with Harmony to increase our leader lifespan, reduce our empire size from pops. I don't know why it shows 5 times the pop demotion, alright. Crime, stability, and edicts fund is overall a very nice tradition to have. And our Maulers will become mature in the next month. No, not Mauler Weavers, I'm sorry. Let's see them growing. Oh, those ones grew. Yeah, there we go. Now, one thing I'm not understanding here is this. So we can have up to +2 engineering research from our engineers. However, I can't upgrade this building here. I don't know what the prerequisite is, so we can upgrade it, but it's bugging me out. Like, I thought we could actually just upgrade the Xenobiological lab to give us more society research, but apparently it doesn't work like this. Maybe there is some prerequisite that I'm missing out. But yeah, so far we already have almost 1,500 research, a very good amount of unity production. Food output is also massive, and basically our economy is stabilized at this point, only a slight deficit in consumer goods. And yeah, I think that overall this patch is very strong. There is just some interactions that I think that are quite buggy, especially the factions, because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to tune in for tomorrow's one, because it will happen at the same time, and we'll probably start going for the Behemoth Fury. I'll see you guys next time.